Hello, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk about some South Florida living. I like South Florida. I love the weather. It's not just I like it, I love it. The culture, the energy. But loving a place doesn't mean ignoring any reality. Right now, South Florida has a serious cost of living problem, a weak white collar job market, and a political structure that quietly shifts the burden onto working professionals. If you are in your 20s, 30s, or even 40s and you're trying to build a life here, that math doesn't work out. Let's talk about housing. In just a few years, home prices have doubled in many areas. Rent have jumped from 30 to 45%, and half of the renters are now officially classified as cost burden. That means more than 30% of income just to keep a roof over your head. Florida now has some of the highest car insurance rates in this country. Home insurance premiums 2 to 3 times of the national average. Condo HOA fees exploding because of the new reserve requirements, and flood insurance becoming mandatory in places that never needed it. Even if your rent stays flat, everything else keeps climbing up. South Florida now costs like New York or Los Angeles without the wages. Looking at the white collar stuff for a second here. This is the part that no one really talks about. South Florida talks a big game about being a tech hub or a finance hub, but in reality, white collar salaries are 15 to 30% lower than any real tech cities. Most good jobs here are remote jobs from other states. Executive and growth roles are limited unless you're in real estate, healthcare, or even sales or commission based work. And if you're trying to climb, not just survive, eventually you're going to hit a ceiling. That's why so many professionals end up leaving in their 20s and 30s, and they come back after they've made their money, their connections, their job, the ability to do remotes back here in South Florida. It's brutal if you're trying to build, and God forbid you are a college kid coming out these days. Florida loves to say that there's no state income tax, which sounds great, but here's the trade off that no one talks about. The state funds itself through sales tax, property taxes, insurance pass throughs, fees, tolls, and assessments. The burden hits the middle earners the hardest. Luxury development keeps expanding, investor driven housing eats up supply, infrastructure lags behind population growth, and the insurance markets are reacting faster than lawmakers. And I'll add another one off script here. There's tons and tons of snowbirds who come here and they either have homes, condos, and apartments, also further eating up the supply. The market is already priced in long term risk, and the politicians won't say it out loud. Here's the part that also doesn't show up on Instagram. There's long commutes. Driving just a few miles could be hours. Horrible heat, high financial stress, social scenes tied to money and status, dating a network that feel transactional. People aren't leaving because they hate Florida. They're leaving because they're tired. South Florida isn't failing because people don't want to live here. It's failing because it's being optimized for investors, retirees, tourists, rich foreigners, not for the working professional trying to build stability. More people will quietly tap out, and no amount of sunshine will fix the math. If you live here and this hits close to home, you're not crazy. And if you left South Florida, plan to, drop a comment and tell me why. Because the conversation everyone avoids is the one that needs to happen. Thank you, everybody.